Hi, and welcome to The State of Work, the podcast by Lano. I'm your host, Sandra, and as a freelancer myself who's working with clients all over the globe, I am experiencing the shift of work every day. So I'm super excited to explore the current and future state of work with you in this podcast. We will talk about the benefits, limitations, and solutions around remote and flexible work and explore many different ways to collaborate and work together. For this, I am chatting with business leaders, innovators, freelancers, and remote employees to learn firsthand how they manage their day-to-day life in an ever-changing and ever-evolving world. Let's talk about cryptocurrency. It's been the topic of conversation over the last couple of years, and I think it is more than fair to say that crypto is here to stay. That's also what Rodrigo Rosa believes, who joined me from his workation in Lisbon to talk about how to implement cryptocurrency in your payroll. Rodrigo is the head of partnerships at Mode, a UK-based company that aims to make Bitcoin mainstream, and that includes enabling employers to pay their workers in cryptocurrency. We talked about the advantages and challenges of a crypto payroll and how companies can start paying their employees in Bitcoin. Rodrigo is very passionate and super knowledgeable in this space, and really made it easy to understand a rather complex topic. So I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did recording it. It's looking quite sunny where you are, so the first question I always ask is, where are you joining from today? So where are you joining from today?
Hey, Sandra. Yes, I am usually based out of London, but I have managed to come out to Lisbon in Portugal for a few days. So that's where I'm dialing in from. Sunny Portugal.
Escaping the London rain? Is that stereotype still going on?
Absolutely. Although ironically, last week we had terrible weather here, and it looked rather nice in the UK, with the Jubilee celebrations.
Yeah.
But it's very nice now.
Always happens. It always happens that way. And I gave a quick little introduction before, but just in your own words for our listeners, what is it that you do?
I work at a company called Mode, which is a UK-based tech company. We're basically a crypto app offering a multitude of products that help people to both start and evolve their crypto journey across many touch points. I look after partnerships, which essentially involves working with many different types of companies to help them deliver and distribute our products. Mm-hmm. So, for example, we've developed a partnership with Lano to help companies to enable their clients to offer their employees the ability to get paid in crypto, more specifically Bitcoin in the UK. Yeah. So that's the sort of partnerships that I work with.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So I'm guessing you're at the forefront and the best person to ask, why would companies want to offer employees the opportunity to be paid in cryptocurrency or specifically Bitcoin?
Absolutely, yeah. So today we're seeing a lot of changes in the workplace. And I think you've gone through a lot of these in the previous podcasts. We're seeing some really big themes emerging. So you're seeing distributed teams worldwide, companies looking to employ talent wherever they're based, kind of beating the talent crunch, not just hiring locally.
Yeah.
You're seeing other themes like, working from home and employees having flexibility to do at least part of the time from home or a desired location. And you're seeing many companies like Airbnb, who have implemented permanent remote working for all of their employees going forward. Mm-hmm. And many companies in the last few years, even from the inception, companies like TopTal, being 100% remote businesses. So what we're seeing is a new era in the workplace where, especially if you look at the younger generations, they're expecting, sometimes even demanding, a lot more flexibility. Mm-hmm. It's a changing mindset that was driven by tech industry, enabled by technology like Zoom and collaborative software, and really accelerated during the pandemic.
Yeah, for sure.
With crypto, the adoption is growing at an incredible pace, and cryptocurrencies, they're gaining increasing relevance in the economy. And we as a Mode, we see salaries being paid in cryptocurrencies as one of the next emerging big themes in the workplace. Mm-hmm. Workers that demand more work flexibility, as well as financial flexibility through innovative salary options.
Yeah.
and what we're seeing is many signs that demand for crypto salaries is really here. I think we saw it happening first last year when we saw, for example, pay me in Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
began trending on Twitter last year.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Uh, we also saw many high-profile politicians, like the mayor of New York City, the mayor of Miami, that have taken salaries in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, you've seen countless numbers of high-profile athletes. Like the top pick in the NFL draft was, receiving, I think it was the salary completely in crypto or
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
NBA players and so on.
Yeah.
And there are also many people worldwide that are effectively already taking their salaries in crypto through basically, like split paying part of the salary into, crypto exchanges or crypto
Mm-hmm.
wallets. So, and actually, one thing worth noting is there are a few pieces of research on this topic as well that really support the kind of the growing demand for this. So,
Mm-hmm.
just to name one, there was a study carried out by a company called PaySafe, which is essentially a payments company.
Mm-hmm.
They asked 2,000 people in both the UK and the US, and they basically did some research to ask, are they interested in, would they like to get paid in crypto?
Yeah.
Uh, and now an astounding 55% said they would like to get paid in cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
And within the sort of younger generation, in the 18 to 24-year-old bracket, they found that 60% of respondents wanted to
Yeah.
get paid in crypto. And there are many other studies that showed similar results, including one that Mode, we did one ourselves. And you tend to see somewhere between 40 to 60% of people who hold crypto would like to get paid a crypto salary. Uh,
Yeah.
with this in mind, the big question really is why wouldn't a company want to give their employees that option if
Yeah.
there is such evidence that it's something that people want, and basically to get into crypto in the most convenient way.
That's true. Yeah. You don't have
Yeah,
to find out yourself and take it into your own hands, but you can just tell your employer, hey, just set it up for me. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So really, to finally answer your question, companies, they should really consider offering crypto salaries because basically many of their workers would like this.
Yeah.
And I guess for the employer, this is a really good way to differentiate yourself as a
Mm-hmm.
forward-thinking employer. You
Yeah.
know, offering what is today still a very unique benefit,
Mm-hmm.
and giving you the ability to attract and retain top talent,
Yeah.
especially for the younger generations or millennials, Gen Z, who are the main adopters of crypto today.
Yeah.
And interestingly, at Mode, when we started offering this is how it started. So we had many of our employees asking us for it. So
Yeah.
the product started with demand, natural
Yeah.
demand from our own employees.
Yeah.
So we decided to run a pilot. The take up was really great. Over half of our employees opted in.
Mm-hmm.
And after we finished a successful pilot for a couple of months, we then decided that it was an absolute no-brainer to
Yeah.
bring this product to market. We did that earlier this year.
Yeah.
Um, and when we put out our job posts, for example, we list this as an employee perk in
Yeah.
our job descriptions, and this goes down really well.
Yeah.
When we talk to candidates, they always come back and say this is a great perk,
Mm-hmm.
and we often hear them saying, "Oh, this is so cool."
Yeah.
And I think we hear this especially because it's still a rare perk. It's still something that people don't necessarily expect yet. They would like it, but
Yeah.
they don't expect it.
Yeah.
And there are a very limited number of providers and employers actually offering this right now.
Yeah. So you said that you basically hear from employers that they want this, employees, sorry, that
Mhm.
they want to be paid in crypto. What are the apart from the flexibility that you mentioned before, what are the other advantages for an employee to be paid in crypto from your experience, from what people tell you why they want to be paid in crypto?
No, absolutely. I think there are really three main reasons for this. Once an employee has made the decision that they would like to go into crypto, or they're already in crypto, they already purchased crypto. Um, it's really then, why do we buy the payroll method, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main benefits of this concept is what we call dollar cost averaging,
Mm-hmm.
which is a kind of a methodology, a famous way of investing, generally in investment terms. So,
Yeah.
um, but being still a very relatively nascent asset, cryptocurrencies, there tends to be still volatility, a fair amount of volatility in the price of crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing it through payroll, you're buying in regular intervals each month.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is you reduce the risk of volatility in your holdings, because sometimes you buy it when the price is a bit lower, sometimes you buy when somewhere in the middle, sometimes you're going to buy it where, at a higher price.
Mm-hmm.
But over the long run, the price that you buy will be nicely averaged,
Mm-hmm.
reducing the effects of volatility in crypto.
Yeah.
So this dollar cost averaging, it's a really kind of powerful thing.
Yeah.
Um, if you'd like to buy crypto regularly, also doing it via payroll ensures that you have kind of a lot more discipline to execute your purchases,
Yeah.
because it sort of removes the emotions behind every purchase. So
Mm-hmm.
I personally sometimes let my emotions get the best of me, and I end up not buying crypto when I plan to,
Yeah.
because I get distracted by the short-term news or sentiment,
Yeah.
that you see in the media. Um, so having a more disciplined buying schedule through payroll, it really ensures that you stick to your long-term plans.
Yeah.
And I think finally, crypto payroll is really the ultimate convenience play for buying crypto.
Mm-hmm.
If at least part of your strategy, or perhaps even your entire strategy, is to dollar cost average some of your holdings in
Yeah.
crypto, then it doesn't really get more convenient and easy to just have it automatically done via your salary.
Yeah.
Uh, there's no need to move money between accounts at certain times of the month and go through the purchase process.
Yeah.
It really is like a set and forget approach.
Mm-hmm.
So it really arguably is the most convenient way, and disciplined way to get into crypto.
Yeah. Because you mentioned the volatility, maybe that's now is a good time to actually address something that's been happening in the last couple of weeks. So I think it was in the media a lot, that there was a big drop in crypto prices, and the rates went down. Short-term rates went down for people. So what would that look like if I'm employed, being paid in crypto, and I read the news and I get scared? Oh, my salary is going to drop heaps, or how does that work?
Actually, one thing worth highlighting, is that the way that we approach payroll means that employees can actually change, pause, or stop their
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin contributions, which is basically a contribution from their net salary,
Yeah.
taken after tax at any point. So
Mm-hmm.
it's worth highlighting that they have full flexibility to adjust the spend on crypto, according to their financial situation.
Yeah.
Secondly, you know, there are different ways that people look at crypto. I personally believe that um, it's impossible to predict the price of crypto in the short term. Nobody can do that. In
Yeah.
the same way they can't predict share prices, for example.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult, especially because it's still a fairly volatile asset class, right? So I think the best way to look at this is to really take a long view approach. If you do believe that crypto is a future, and that it is here to stay, and that you believe in the prospects that you have in the economy, and
Mm-hmm.
crypto being part of the economy, you do need to take a long-term view. And I think payroll does that. It's about building your portfolio of crypto very gradually over time, and really kind of ignoring um, the kind of ups and downs that you see
Yeah.
on a weekly or monthly basis, and really holding tight, and not panic selling, or having that kind of approach to crypto, trying to trade it. So ultimately, I think this is what the payroll approach does. You dollar cost average, you take a long-term view, you build it over time in a similar way that you would build a pension, or
Yeah.
perhaps other types of investments.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my general view here is, uh, take the long-term view, and
Yeah.
try to avoid these panic selling or trying to buy low, buy high, because it's not something that people can predict.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So, in to get a little bit more practical, when I want to start paying my employees in crypto, um, and I'm looking for a provider that does that like Mode, what would be the first steps? So, what do I have to set up first, maybe on my side, on the company side? What can Mode do for me? And what are the different options that I have in terms of paying fully, paying only part of the wage in crypto? What are the different options that your clients have?
It's actually really, really simple and easy for an employer to implement crypto payroll. In our case, it's Bitcoin payroll with
Mm-hmm.
Mode. Um, Basically, as the crypto firm, we do all of the heavy lifting on the crypto side.
Mm-hmm.
So on the employer side, all they have to do is really go through a simple process of enrolling the employees through an opt-in process. So
Yeah.
basically asking the question, who would like to do this, to participate, and basically how much each month of your net salary would you like
Yeah.
to go towards crypto. So it's
Yeah.
just a sign-up process, but also this is the opportunity to inform and provide all the educational material, especially for those who are new to crypto, about how everything works, and some more information about the crypto space in general.
Yeah.
Then the opted employees just need to download the app and create an account. So this is on the employee side. They
Yeah.
register and create an account. And then ahead of payday, it's really simple. Just like any other net salary deduction that the
Mm-hmm.
employer could do as part of the payroll,
Mm-hmm.
they will basically add that deduction. They send the money to Mode.
Yeah.
Then together with a list of the employees and how much each one of them is buying,
Mm-hmm.
with the amount in fiat currency. In the case of us, is British pound.
Yeah.
And voila, we just credit them the employee's Mode account with Bitcoin, at the exchange rate on the end time of payday.
Yeah.
So I guess from the employer's point of view, they don't need to have any technical integration,
Yeah.
nor do they require exposure to crypto because we take
Yeah.
care of that. They just send us the British pound amount.
Yeah.
And then once the Bitcoin's credited into the employee's account, they receive a nice notification on the app, where they can also view all the historical transactions and all the balances.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing also to highlight for employees is they have instant access to the Bitcoin. So from the moment that the Bitcoin payroll goes into their account,
Yeah.
24/7, they can convert that Bitcoin back into GBP if they want,
Yeah.
or into British pound, and then withdraw it to their bank account should they want to, or should they need access to the funds.
Yeah.
They're in full control.
Yeah. That would have been my next question. What happens if they want to access the actual the act of the Bitcoin and transfer it? And what happens if the employees have any questions, any technical problems? I'm guessing they would be directly communicating with Mode instead of the employer.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially because what we're seeing is a lot of people today who like this kind of service or who are
Mm-hmm.
interested in service, uh, because it's a very kind of easy and steady way to get into crypto, right, through
Yeah.
small deductions. So these tend to be crypto curious people as well, uh, and they don't know necessarily, they're not that experienced with crypto.
Yeah.
So we, before we go live with an employer, we do have AMA sessions. We provide a bunch of reading materials, our own materials, also independent materials as well. And once they're onboarded, or even before they want to sign up, if they have any questions about the service, how it works, etc., we have a pretty extensive customer support,
Yeah.
where they can write to us, or via email, or even to our basically our sales team, and then we can provide that support needed.
Yeah.
So we're really there to help them, kind of white glove service the entire way.
One thing that people or that comes to mind quickly when talking about crypto is that it's not regulated, or that it's, let's say, less regulated than normal currencies or payments. But when we're talking about wages and salaries, obviously there's tax, there's, depending on where you're paying your employees, social benefits and insurance to be paid. How does that work when you choose to pay your employees in Bitcoin or in any other cryptocurrency? How is that regulated?
Yeah, this is a really good question, and yeah, let me try to simplify this. So this is a really hot topic in the UK,
Hmm.
more specifically where we're based, and it's also a hot topic in many of the countries, like in the US, in Europe, in Australia, and
Mm-hmm.
so on. Generally speaking, cryptocurrencies are not yet regulated in most countries. We have to remember that crypto, like I said earlier, is a very still in its nascent days. But many governments, include in Europe, in the UK, in the US, are very seriously looking into crypto and how to best regulate the space, because they realize that cryptocurrencies are here to stay and they will
Mm-hmm.
play an important role in the future economy. For example, I think it was last month, Rishi Sunak, Chancellor in the UK, he announced that the government is absolutely determined to make the UK one of the main crypto hubs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Treasury said that they plan to consult on regulating a much wider range of cryptocurrencies later this year. They didn't specify which, but I guess we can guess which they might be. I guess
Yeah.
the main cryptocurrencies today. So the government is really focusing on creating regulation to help plug cryptocurrencies into use cases in the economy.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing is, the Treasury also said that that was going to ask the Royal Mint to
Yeah.
create a non-fungible token, an NFT, this summer,
Yeah.
which I think is really cool because it shows that they're really keen not only to like regulate the space, look at the space, but also to build knowledge internally,
Yeah.
about blockchain, about NFTs and crypto.
Yeah.
So regulation will be really good for the sector because it will help it to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, it's just a matter of time before
Yeah.
it comes in, and it's definitely a priority for many governments.
Yeah.
Um, it's worth pointing out that many financial institutions that deal with crypto also work with fiat money, i.e., GBP, US dollars, and so on, and
Mm-hmm.
they hold customer funds in balances, right? And there is a lot of existing regulation that is relevant to these institutions, and currently they're heavily focused on protecting users and their funds.
Yeah.
So all the registered and regulated exchanges are required to adhere to money laundering regulations,
Yeah.
payment service regulation, and so on. Let's use maybe the case of Mode here in the UK. We take regulation very seriously. We are a registered financial institution
Mm-hmm.
regulated by the FCA. We also hold an EMI license and a crypto asset registration. And then the latter actually enables us to provide our users with access to, a centralized framework such as a bank to
Mm-hmm.
withdraw their coins into GBP. So basically, holding this crypto asset registration really enable us to do that thing that I told you earlier, which is, once someone has crypto, Bitcoin in their account, they can withdraw it instantly
Yeah.
into a bank account. And so this is why one of the reasons it's really important that we hold that registration with the
Yeah.
FCA.
Yeah.
So so people who'd like to get into crypto, they really should take time to research providers
Mm-hmm.
and seek to use one that is recognized and regulated financial institution to make
Yeah.
sure that their funds and their crypto are as protected as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm if I'm being paid in crypto and I'm choosing to transfer it into pounds or whatever currency I need, um, how is that taxed? That's probably a difficult question to ask because there's different tax systems in every country all over the world. But just in your experience, maybe focusing on the UK market, how would that occur any tax for me as an employee?
Yeah. So I guess that there is maybe two parts to this question. I guess the first one is income tax,
Yeah.
and and any tax the source of income, for example, like national insurance as well.
Yeah.
And there is capital gains tax. Okay, so first let's talk about income tax, because that's
Mm-hmm.
also something employers should pay
Yeah.
attention to. Um, so I'm going to talk about the UK, but this is also a general rule in most countries. So crypto salary is taxed normally, just like getting paid in fiat currency.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it actually works, certainly the way that we do it, is that the employee is actually paid first in normal currency, fiat currency, like British
Mm-hmm.
pounds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're paid their net salary, and then all the deductions take place,
Mm-hmm.
like national insurance and like income tax.
Yeah.
Um, so all those things are applied before we actually run the crypto payroll. So Once the employer calculates the net salary,
Mm-hmm.
then what they will do is they'll do a crypto payroll deduction from the net salary of the
Mm-hmm.
employee. And that is the money that is then sent to Mode to then purchase crypto. So
Yeah.
all the calculations, I think, has already been done,
Yeah.
right? So I guess the short answer is there are no implications from a income tax point of view.
Yeah.
However, once an employee or worker has the crypto, at some point they will probably sell that crypto, right?
Yeah.
Convert into pounds, and they might, at that point, they might either make a gain or a loss.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's just like any other assets, like shares, for example. The employee will be liable to pay capital gains tax on
Mm-hmm.
that. And this works in exactly the same way as any other asset. So if you make some money, I think in the UK the tax amount is 20%, but there is also an annual allowance of free
Yeah.
capital gains.
Yeah.
And that's the responsibility of the employee to calculate that information on an annual basis each fiscal year and
Yeah.
report that to the authorities, the tax authorities,
Yeah.
with their tax returns.
Yeah.
It's basically that.
Yeah. So basically what you have to do anyways if you're being paid, if you have a salary, you have to do your income tax anyways. And depending on your situation and what assets you have to look at the other aspects of that as well. So no additional implications for the employee. That sounds pretty promising.
Absolutely, yeah.
Looking at all these developments, and I mean, we've discussed some of the potential challenges already. Is there anything else you can think of that might pop into people's heads in terms of a challenge for setting it up, either from an employer side or from an employee side? What are the big hurdles people have to jump when they first want to start on their journey to pay people in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I really think it's very simple. Because we don't have, like I said, any integrations that are really needed.
Yeah.
Uh, the technical implementation of this is very, very simple. It just involves, like I said, the three steps in the process, which is
Yeah.
employee opt-in, an education process, right, and then there is the account creation, and then the monthly processing, which is just sending us the information about each employee, how much they're
Mm-hmm.
buying, and sending us the funds. So those are
Mm-hmm.
the basic steps. Maybe the only other thing worth highlighting is, like anything, if you do any change to payroll, this is a new field, let's call it,
Mm-hmm.
in a company's payroll. So they have to have some sort of process in place. So either work with a payroll provider or the payroll software to kind of add that additional line there
Yeah.
for after tax. But from what we've seen, the companies that we've worked so far, this is really, really simple.
Yeah.
It really isn't, is a kind of task that already exists, and
Yeah.
you just call in a crypto payroll and add in a new line on the payroll software.
Yeah.
And in order to make that even easier to help companies, we're also partnering with payroll companies to try to have as much integration as possible there to facilitate
Yeah.
that process. So that's
Yeah.
something that we want to make it ultimately super convenient for employers to be able to just, with a few clicks,
Yeah.
implement this.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing else springs to mind on as far as
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah.
Actually, just one thing worth highlighting is I do think the main challenge is for an employee, it's really to, like, is this something they should do?
Yeah.
So I think for those who have this in their agenda, I think the best thing to do is just, you know, is it something that will actually make your employees happier? So
Yes.
they should go out there, do some research, do a survey internally, ask
Yeah.
the question to people, and then once they're done, I think the challenge from the employee side is mainly, if you are new to crypto and you really want to on board on this journey,
Mm-hmm.
is I would urge everyone, really do your research. It is not a simple space, so you should really do your research about which cryptos you think you're interested in getting into, whether it's
Yeah.
Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum. I think that's the main challenge in all this is really for the employee to get informed, to make the right decisions when they buy a crypto.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered a lot of aspects of this already. So the only thing left for me to ask is, what's next? What's the future for crypto in the workplace and maybe for work in general from your point of view?
Yeah, that's it's a very kind of interesting space, crypto, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I say this for a few reasons. So the future of crypto, in my opinion, is generally bright.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many tailwinds behind it. So you have huge adoption growth. I think last year, some estimates that around 300 million people at the end of last year uh, owned crypto worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if you look at current growth rates, it's the compounded growth rate of crypto over the years. If that continues, it won't be too many years before we hit around a billion people.
Yeah.
You have recognition from governments that cryptocurrencies are here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
With dedicated resources, from governments to regulate the industry. Every major bank today basically provides access to crypto products, and they're also investing in many crypto projects.
Yeah.
Major global banks. Institution adoption. You see companies like Tesla holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. You're seeing many retailers, like Starbucks, for
Yeah.
example, starting to accept crypto payments. And many major payment processors, companies like Checkout.com, for example, are helping companies to get accept crypto payments. So basically, I think crypto will play a much bigger part in our lives, where there's much more of a circular economy around crypto, where
Mm-hmm.
workers will be able to get paid in crypto,
Yeah.
spend crypto almost anywhere, especially on the web. Allocate some of the savings to crypto,
Mm-hmm.
be rewarded in crypto for loyalty, for example. This is something remote do. So people on the day-to-day shopping, they can uh, buy things at top retailers and receive Bitcoin cashback, for
Yeah.
example. So it's also like a token of loyalty.
Yeah.
Um, People will be able to send money to their friends and family globally, through crypto. And also, there are also some broader themes that are sort of around crypto, uh, that but connect with crypto really well. So you've got the advent of Web3, right? Which is basically, for those who don't know, is a decentralized internet, basically powered by blockchain.
Yeah.
And crypto has a huge potential to be the core currency in a decentralized internet because it's already powered by blockchain, and it's already global in its nature. So even if you think of crypto as uh, in its capability as a
Mm-hmm.
means of payments globally, payment systems were actually designed decades ago. This, payment schemes are very clunky. They're domestic in nature. They're not global, and they're
Yeah.
massively outdated. So there is a strong argument for a new and more efficient payment slash value exchange system in the world. And
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies are in prime position to tackle this problem due to their global nature and the fact that they're powered by blockchain. So, um, yeah, it could also be like if you just to link it to something in real life, what is going to be in 10 years the best way to pay a remote distributed workforce globally?
Yeah.
Uh, it could well be that crypto is one of the best ways to actually make global payments, because they're instant and more efficient.
Yeah.
So I guess to sum up, generally employers should really pay attention to this space
Mm-hmm.
because crypto will likely play an increasing role in the lives of workers in the economy. And I really think it will offer great opportunities for those who want to be one step ahead of the trends.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. Oh, I'm fired up now. You definitely seem very passionate about this topic, and yeah, I think a fair point to everyone. Just look into this and know your options. I guess that's the first step. Just be aware of what's out there and what the opportunities are, and like a common theme we've had in our podcast episodes before is listen to your employees, listen to what people want, what their needs are, and what they're telling you what would make their lives better and easier. And if cryptocurrency is part of that, then you know where to find us. Um, Thank you so much for taking the time to explain all of this and to share what your everyday life looks like. I'm very interested to see how it's going to develop, and I'm pretty sure that we'll hear more about this topic in the future. And we'll definitely be back in touch to get your insights on other topics coming up in this space.
That's great, Sandra. It was really nice talking to you. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
The State of Work is a podcast by Lano and is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us at Instagram or Twitter by searching for The State of Work. For more information about today's topic and links to further reading, check out our show notes at podcast.lano.io. Thanks for listening, and until next time on The State of Work.